Japanese Self-Care, 15 Practical Habits for a Calm and Balanced Life, published by Timeless Audiobook. Introduction. Calm is no longer something we stumble upon by accident. It has become a skill we must consciously practice. In a world that rewards speed, noise, and constant reaction, the ability to remain balanced is a quiet form of strength. Japanese self-care is not about escape, luxury, or temporary relief. It is about how you live, how you move through your days, and how you treat your inner world with respect and discipline. This audiobook is built on a simple idea. Peace is created through daily habits, not dramatic changes. The Japanese approach to self-care teaches us that calm is cultivated through order, awareness, restraint, and consistency. It is found in how you wake up, how you eat, how you work, how you rest, and how you respond when life does not go as planned. These habits may appear small, but practiced daily, they reshape your mind, your emotions, and your sense of balance. In this audiobook, we will explore 15 practical habits rooted in timeless Japanese principles, habits that help you reduce mental noise, strengthen emotional control, and create a life that feels steady rather than overwhelming. These are not abstract philosophies meant to impress. They are real practices designed to fit into ordinary life, even on busy days. Each chapter will guide you toward a calmer way of living without asking you to withdraw from responsibility or ambition. You are not here to become passive. You are here to become grounded. Calm does not weaken your drive. It sharpens it. Balance does not slow your progress. It makes it sustainable. When your inner world is steady, your outer actions become more deliberate and effective. Listen slowly. Reflect often. Apply what resonates. Return to these habits whenever life feels noisy or unbalanced. This audiobook is not meant to be rushed. It is meant to be lived. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Build your life around simplicity, not comfort. Simplicity is not about having less for the sake of having less. It is about removing what quietly drains you. Comfort, on the other hand, often looks appealing, but slowly weakens your ability to stay calm and focused. A comfortable life can be full of distractions, noise, and excess. A simple life, however, gives your mind room to breathe. When you choose simplicity, you are choosing clarity over clutter, intention over impulse, and calm over constant stimulation. Japanese self-care begins with this understanding. Your environment shapes your inner state. Too many possessions, too many commitments, and too many unnecessary choices create mental weight. You may not notice it at first, but over time, this weight turns into restlessness and fatigue. Simplicity lightens that load. It allows you to move through your day without feeling pulled in 10 different directions. It does not ask you to give up what matters. It asks you to keep only what truly serves you. Comfort often encourages avoidance. It invites you to delay difficult tasks, avoid discomfort, and escape into habits that feel good in the moment, but leave you unsettled afterward. Simplicity does the opposite. It helps you face life directly, without excess padding. When your surroundings are clear and your routines are simple, you are less tempted to hide from responsibility. You act with purpose because there is less competing for your attention. This does not mean living harshly or denying yourself joy. Simplicity is not punishment. It is refinement. It is choosing fewer, better things. Fewer commitments, but deeper focus. Fewer possessions, but greater appreciation. Fewer distractions, but stronger presence. Over time, this approach creates a quiet confidence. You begin to trust yourself more because your life is no longer crowded with unnecessary noise. Think about how often complexity sneaks into your day. Extra apps on your phone, unplanned obligations, endless scrolling, background noise that never stops. Each of these steals a little bit of your attention, and attention, once scattered, is hard to recover. Simplicity helps you reclaim it. It allows you to decide where your energy goes instead of letting the world decide for you. When you simplify, your mind becomes steadier. Decisions feel easier. Emotional reactions soften. You respond instead of react. This is why simplicity is the foundation of calm living. Without it, self-care becomes another item on an already crowded list. With it, self-care becomes the way you live. Begin small. Remove one unnecessary habit. Clear one space. Reduce one obligation that no longer aligns with your values. You do not need to change everything at once. In fact, trying to do so would add more complexity. Choose progress over perfection. Choose clarity over comfort. As you build your life around simplicity, you will notice something subtle but powerful. You will feel lighter, more present, more in control of your inner world. Calm will no longer feel like something you chase. It will feel like something you carry with you, quietly and steadily, wherever you go. Chapter 2. Treat daily routines as sacred rituals. Your life is shaped less by big decisions and more by what you do repeatedly without thinking. Daily routines may look ordinary, even boring, but they quietly determine the quality of your inner world. In Japanese self-care, routine is not something to escape from, it is something to honor. When you treat your daily routines as sacred rituals, you transform ordinary moments into anchors of calm and stability. A ritual is different from a habit. A habit can be rushed, ignored, or done half-heartedly. A ritual is done with presence. It is performed with care, intention, and respect. When you wake up at the same time each day, prepare your morning calmly, and move through familiar steps without chaos, your nervous system begins to relax. It knows what to expect. And when the mind feels safe, it becomes quieter. Modern life often encourages us to seek excitement and novelty, but constant novelty creates restlessness. Ritual does the opposite. It grounds you. Repeating the same actions in the same order gives your mind a sense of rhythm. Over time, this rhythm becomes a source of emotional balance. You are no longer starting each day in a reactive state. You are beginning from stability. Think about the way you start your mornings. Do you rush immediately into messages, noise, and demands, or do you give yourself a few moments of calm structure? A simple morning routine, washing your face slowly, making tea or coffee with attention, taking a few quiet breaths, can change the tone of your entire day. These small actions tell your mind, I am in control. I am not being chased by time. Evening routines matter just as much. Ending the day with intention allows you to let go of accumulated tension. When you review your day calmly, tidy your space, and prepare for rest in a consistent way, your mind learns how to switch off. Sleep becomes deeper. Rest becomes more restorative. You are not carrying unfinished emotional weight into the next day. Ritual also creates meaning in simple actions. Eating the same meals mindfully, cleaning your space regularly, setting aside time to reflect or write. These acts may seem insignificant, but they build a sense of continuity. They remind you that life does not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. Calm grows in the repetition of small, respectful actions. There will be days when motivation is low. On those days, rituals carry you forward. You do not rely on mood, you rely on structure. This is one of the quiet strengths of disciplined self-care. You show up not because you feel inspired, but because your routine guides you. Over time, this builds self-trust. You begin to see yourself as someone who is steady, reliable, and grounded. It is important to keep rituals simple. Complexity defeats their purpose. A ritual should calm you, not pressure you. Choose routines that fit naturally into your life. Do not copy someone else's schedule. Build rituals that feel sustainable, even on busy or difficult days. Consistency matters more than intensity. As you repeat these rituals day after day, something shifts inside you. The mind becomes less reactive. Emotional swings soften. You feel anchored, even when life becomes unpredictable. This is not accidental. It is the result of honoring the ordinary. Treat your daily routines with respect. Show up for them fully. Do not rush them away. In doing so, you create a quiet structure that supports your calm, your balance, and your sense of control. Over time, these sacred rituals become the invisible foundation of a steady and centered life. Chapter 3. Clean your environment to clear your mind. The state of your surroundings quietly shapes the state of your mind. You may not always notice it, but clutter creates noise, and noise creates tension. A crowded space demands attention, even when you are trying to rest. In Japanese self-care, cleaning is not viewed as a chore or punishment. It is a form of care. When you clean your environment, you are also caring for your mental clarity and emotional balance. A messy space holds unfinished decisions. Every object out of place is a reminder of something incomplete. Over time, these reminders accumulate and create mental fatigue. You may feel restless without knowing why. Cleaning removes that weight. It allows your mind to relax because there is less to process. Order on the outside invites order within. This is why cleaning is approached with intention rather than resistance. It is not about perfection, it is about respect. Respect for your space, respect for your time, and respect for your inner state. When you sweep a floor, organize a desk, or clear a shelf, you are not just improving appearance. You are signaling to yourself that your environment matters and that you deserve calm. Many people wait for motivation before they clean. Japanese self-care reverses this thinking. You clean first, and motivation follows. Action creates clarity. Movement dissolves stagnation. Even a small act of cleaning can reset your mood. When you feel overwhelmed, clearing one surface or organizing one drawer can restore a sense of control. There is also a deeper lesson in cleaning regularly. It teaches you to let go. Holding on to items you no longer use or need creates emotional attachment to the past. Releasing them makes space for the present. This practice strengthens your ability to detach, not only from objects, but also from unnecessary thoughts and worries. A clean space reflects a mind that knows how to release what no longer serves it. Cleaning does not have to be rushed or aggressive. In fact, it works best when done slowly and mindfully. Pay attention to each movement. Fold carefully, place items deliberately. Notice the quiet satisfaction that comes from order. These moments of focus pull you out of mental noise and bring you back into the present. Your living space is not the only environment that matters. Your work area shapes your focus. A cluttered desk encourages distraction. A clean, simple workspace invites concentration. When your surroundings support your attention, work feels lighter and more controlled. You waste less energy searching, deciding, and reacting. Consistency is more powerful than occasional deep cleaning. Small daily efforts prevent chaos from accumulating. Putting things back where they belong, tidying for a few minutes each evening, keeping surfaces clear. These simple actions maintain balance without effort. Over time, cleanliness becomes a natural state rather than a task. As you develop this habit, you may notice a shift in how you approach challenges. You become more proactive, more aware, less reactive. Cleaning trains the mind to face things directly instead of avoiding them. It reinforces the idea that order is created, not hoped for. A clean environment does not guarantee a calm mind, but it makes calm easier to achieve. It removes unnecessary friction from daily life. It supports clarity, focus, and emotional steadiness. By caring for your space, you create a foundation for inner peace. Treat cleaning as an act of self-respect. Not something to endure, but something to practice. Each time you restore order around you, you are also restoring balance within. Chapter 4. Move your body gently, but every day. Movement is not meant to exhaust you. It is meant to sustain you. In Japanese self-care, the body is treated as something to be maintained with respect, not pushed until it breaks. Gentle daily movement keeps energy flowing and the mind steady. It reminds you that strength does not always come from intensity. Often, it comes from consistency. Many people associate exercise with struggle, pressure, and punishment. They wait for motivation, push too hard, and then stop completely. This cycle creates imbalance. Gentle movement breaks that pattern. When you move your body a little every day, walking, stretching, or simply changing posture with awareness, you build a rhythm that supports long-term well-being. Daily movement helps release tension that builds silently. Stress does not always announce itself. It settles into the shoulders, the back, the neck. Without movement, this tension accumulates. Gentle motion loosens it before it becomes pain. You may notice your breath deepen, your thoughts slow, and your mood stabilize. This is not accidental. The body and mind are closely connected. Walking is one of the simplest and most powerful forms of movement. It requires no equipment and no special conditions. A slow, attentive walk allows the mind to settle. Each step becomes a way to reconnect with the present moment. Over time, walking daily creates a sense of steadiness. You are moving forward without rushing, progressing without strain. Stretching also plays an important role. It teaches you to listen to your body. Tightness becomes a signal rather than an enemy. By stretching gently, you respond instead of forcing. This awareness builds trust between you and your body. You learn when to rest and when to move, when to slow down and when to continue. Movement is also a form of respect. When you take care of your body, you acknowledge its role in supporting your life. You do not ignore discomfort or wait until something breaks. You maintain what you have. This mindset shifts self-care from reaction to prevention. You move not because something is wrong, but because you want to stay balanced. Consistency matters more than duration. 10 minutes every day is more powerful than one intense session followed by weeks of inactivity. Gentle movement fits into life without creating resistance. It does not require you to rearrange your entire schedule. It becomes part of your routine, as natural as breathing. There will be days when energy feels low. On those days, movement should be even gentler, not abandoned. A short walk, a few stretches, or simple breathing with motion is enough. Showing up consistently reinforces self-trust. You prove to yourself that you care, even when conditions are not ideal. Over time, daily movement changes how you carry yourself. Posture improves. Breathing becomes more relaxed. Physical awareness increases. These changes influence your emotional state. You feel more grounded, more present, more at ease in your own body. Gentle movement also sharpens mental clarity. As the body moves, the mind releases excess tension. Thoughts become less scattered. Focus improves. This is why many people find solutions to problems while walking or stretching. Movement clears mental pathways that stillness sometimes cannot. Move your body daily, but do it with kindness. Avoid extremes. Avoid comparison. This practice is not about performance. It is about maintenance. When you honor your body with gentle, consistent movement, you create a stable foundation for calm living. Strength grows quietly, balance deepens naturally, and your mind learns to rest in motion. Chapter 5. Eat with awareness, not distraction. Eating is one of the most repeated actions in your life, yet it is often the most neglected in terms of attention. Meals are rushed, screens are present, and food becomes something consumed in the background. In Japanese self-care, eating is treated as a moment of connection. When you eat with awareness, you nourish not only your body, but also your sense of balance and self-respect. Distraction during meals separates you from your body's signals. You eat past fullness, miss subtle flavors, and lose the natural rhythm of hunger and satisfaction. Over time, this disconnect creates discomfort and restlessness. Eating with awareness restores that connection. It invites you to slow down and listen to what your body is telling you. Begin by giving meals your full attention. Sit down, put distractions away. Take a moment to observe your food before you begin. This pause may seem small, but it shifts your mindset. You are no longer rushing to consume. You are preparing to receive nourishment. This simple act sets the tone for calm digestion and mental clarity. As you eat, notice the texture, temperature, and flavor of each bite. Chew slowly. Allow your body time to respond. Awareness naturally regulates portion sizes without force or restriction. You stop when you feel satisfied, not when the plate is empty. This creates a sense of control without tension. Mindful eating also builds gratitude. When you recognize the effort behind your food, you approach meals with respect rather than entitlement. This attitude fosters contentment. Food becomes a source of stability instead of a trigger for guilt or overindulgence. Calm follows appreciation. Japanese self-care emphasizes balance over extremes. No food is treated as an enemy. Instead, attention is placed on moderation and timing. Eating regular meals, choosing simplicity, and avoiding excess supports steady energy throughout the day. When energy levels are stable, emotional reactions soften. You are less likely to become irritable, impulsive, or fatigued. The way you eat influences how you live. Rushed meals encourage rushed decisions. Distracted eating mirrors distracted thinking. When you slow down at the table, you train yourself to slow down elsewhere. This awareness carries into conversations, work, and daily choices. Eating with awareness also strengthens your relationship with yourself. You demonstrate care through attention. You stop using food as a reward or escape, and start seeing it as fuel and support. This shift reduces emotional dependence on eating and restores balance. Consistency matters here as well. You do not need to make every meal perfect. Start with one meal a day. Make it calm, make it intentional. Over time, this practice becomes natural. You begin to prefer quiet meals because they leave you feeling grounded rather than overstimulated. Notice how your body responds. Digestion improves, energy steadies, cravings lose intensity. These changes reinforce the value of awareness. You experience the benefits directly, without needing rules or restrictions. Eating is not separate from self-care. It is self-care practiced several times a day. When you treat meals as moments of presence rather than distractions, you build calm into your routine. Each mindful bite becomes a reminder to slow down, listen, and respect your body. By eating with awareness, you create balance from the inside out. Your body feels supported, your mind feels steadier, and calm becomes part of your daily rhythm, one meal at a time. Chapter 6. Protect your mental energy, like a limited resource. Your mental energy is not endless, even if the world treats it that way. Every conversation, notification, decision, and piece of information asks for a portion of your attention. When too much is demanded, calm disappears. Japanese self-care recognizes this clearly. Mental energy is treated as something precious, something to be guarded with care, not wasted casually. Many people feel exhausted without understanding why. They may not be physically tired, yet their minds feel heavy. This often comes from overexposure. Too many inputs, too many opinions, too many demands that never pause. When you allow everything to reach you, you slowly lose the ability to focus and respond calmly. Protecting your mental energy begins with awareness. Notice what drains you. Certain conversations leave you tense. Certain media leaves you restless. Certain environments demand constant reaction. These are not neutral experiences. They consume energy. Once you recognize this, you can begin to choose more carefully. Not everything deserves your attention. This is not selfishness. It is responsibility. When you give your energy to unimportant or harmful inputs, you have less available for what truly matters. Learning to say no, to step back, and to disengage is a form of self-care. Calm people are selective, not indifferent. Information overload is one of the greatest threats to balance. Constant updates, opinions, and noise fragment the mind. You may feel informed, but you are rarely focused. Reducing mental clutter restores clarity. Limit what you consume. Choose depth over quantity. Allow your mind to rest between inputs. Silence plays an important role here. Moments without stimulation allow the mind to reset. Even brief periods of quiet can restore balance. Sitting without checking a device. Walking without listening to anything. These pauses are not empty. They are restorative. Mental boundaries are as important as physical ones. Just as you would not allow anyone to enter your home uninvited, you do not need to allow every thought, message, or demand to enter your mind. Decide what you accept. This choice gives you control over your inner state. Work also consumes mental energy. Focused effort requires rest to remain effective. Constant multitasking drains energy faster than steady attention. Completing one task at a time reduces strain and increases satisfaction. When work is approached with intention, it becomes less exhausting. Protecting mental energy also means managing emotional exposure. Absorbing other people's stress, anger, or negativity can quietly drain you. You are allowed to care without carrying everything. Detachment does not mean lack of compassion. It means knowing where your responsibility ends. Over time, as you protect your energy, you may notice your reactions change. You feel less overwhelmed, more patient, more present. This is not because life has become easier, but because you are no longer scattering your attention. Rest is part of protection. Mental rest is not laziness. It is maintenance. Sleep, quiet time, and reflection recharge your capacity to engage. Without rest, even meaningful activities become draining. This practice requires discipline. The world will always ask for more attention. Notifications will appear. Demands will continue. Calm comes from choosing what you respond to. Each choice reinforces balance. When you protect your mental energy, you preserve your ability to think clearly, feel steadily, and act deliberately. Calm becomes sustainable. Focus becomes natural, and your inner world remains intact, even in a demanding environment. Chapter 7. Learn the art of quiet presence. Quiet presence is the ability to be fully here without the need to fill every moment with words, movement, or reaction. It is a calm awareness that does not demand attention yet commands respect. In Japanese self-care, quiet presence is not passive. It is a disciplined state of mind that allows you to observe, understand, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. Many people feel uncomfortable with silence. They rush to speak, explain, or distract themselves because stillness feels unfamiliar. Yet silence is where awareness deepens. When you stop filling space unnecessarily, you begin to notice subtle details, tone, emotion, intention. This awareness strengthens emotional intelligence and reduces misunderstanding. Quiet presence begins with listening, not waiting to respond, not preparing your next sentence, but truly hearing what is being said. When you listen fully, conversations become calmer, conflicts soften, people feel understood. You conserve energy because you are not constantly performing or defending. There is strength in not reacting immediately. Pausing before responding gives your mind time to settle. It separates emotion from action. This pause may last only a few seconds, but it changes everything. You respond with intention instead of impulse. Calm replaces chaos. In daily life, quiet presence shows itself in simple ways: sitting without checking your phone, walking without rushing, standing comfortably without needing to look busy. These moments train your mind to rest in awareness. Over time, stillness becomes comfortable rather than awkward. Speaking less does not mean withdrawing. It means choosing words carefully. When you speak from quiet presence, your words carry weight. They are not wasted. This creates respect without force. People notice when someone does not compete for attention. Quiet presence also helps regulate emotions. When you observe your feelings without immediately expressing them, you gain control. Anger loses urgency. Anxiety softens. You are no longer ruled by emotional surges. Instead, you guide them gently. This practice requires patience. The urge to react will appear. Thoughts will rush in. The goal is not to eliminate them, but to notice them without attachment. Each time you choose stillness over reaction, you strengthen inner balance. There is also a deep sense of freedom in quiet presence. You are not obligated to entertain, impress, or explain yourself constantly. You exist comfortably as you are. This ease creates natural confidence. Calm becomes visible in your posture, your voice, and your pace. In work and relationships, quiet presence improves clarity. You see situations more objectively. You sense when to speak and when to wait. Decisions become cleaner because they are not rushed. This steady awareness supports wise action. Silence does not mean absence. It means space. Space for thought, space for understanding, space for calm. In that space, insight emerges naturally. You begin to see beyond surface reactions and into deeper patterns. Practice quiet presence intentionally. Begin with short moments. Pause before responding. Sit in silence for a minute. Notice your breath. These small practices accumulate. Over time, stillness becomes a reliable source of strength. When you master the art of quiet presence, you carry calm with you. You do not need to control the environment to feel steady. Your balance comes from within, and that quiet strength shapes every interaction, gently and powerfully. Chapter 8. Respect your work without letting it consume you. Work plays a central role in daily life, but it was never meant to replace life itself. In Japanese self-care, work is treated with respect, care, and responsibility, yet it is also given clear boundaries. Balance is created when effort is steady and purposeful, not when it is endless. When you respect your work without letting it consume you, you protect both your productivity and your peace. Many people measure their value by how busy they appear. Long hours, constant urgency, and exhaustion are often worn as badges of honor. Over time, this mindset erodes calm. Work becomes pressure rather than purpose. Japanese self-care offers a quieter approach. It values focused effort, attention to detail, and completion over frantic motion. Respecting your work begins with how you approach each task. When you work with presence, even simple duties gain meaning. You are not rushing to escape them, you are finishing them properly. This attitude reduces mental strain. Tasks feel manageable because you are fully engaged rather than scattered. Focus is essential. Multitasking creates the illusion of efficiency, but drains energy quickly. When you give one task your full attention, you conserve mental strength. Progress becomes visible. Satisfaction grows. Calm follows completion. It is also important to know when to stop. Endless work dulls clarity. Fatigue leads to mistakes and irritability. Stopping at a reasonable time is not laziness, it is maintenance. Rest preserves your ability to work well tomorrow. Boundaries protect balance. Clear start and end times prevent work from leaking into every part of life. When you step away, allow yourself to disconnect mentally. Carrying unfinished tasks into rest undermines recovery. Closure matters. Work should support life, not replace it. When all meaning comes from productivity, imbalance grows. Japanese self-care encourages balance through rhythm. Periods of effort followed by rest. Focus followed by release. This rhythm sustains energy over the long term. Respecting work also means avoiding perfectionism. Doing something well does not require endless refinement. Knowing when something is complete protects mental energy. Perfectionism often hides fear rather than excellence. Calm comes from steady progress, not constant correction. When challenges arise at work, respond with composure. Pressure will appear. Deadlines will tighten. Calm effort allows you to meet challenges without panic. You act thoughtfully instead of reactively. This approach earns trust and reduces stress. There is dignity in work done quietly and consistently. You do not need constant recognition. Satisfaction comes from knowing you gave your best within healthy limits. This inner standard creates stability. As you practice balanced effort, you may notice a shift in identity. You are no longer defined solely by output. You become someone who works with intention and rests with permission. This balance strengthens confidence. Respect your work, but respect yourself more. When work fits into life, rather than consuming it, calm becomes sustainable. You remain effective, focused, and emotionally steady. Balance is preserved not through withdrawal, but through wise boundaries and deliberate effort. Chapter 9. Accept imperfection without self-criticism. Perfection promises control, but it rarely delivers peace. The constant pursuit of flawlessness creates tension, self-doubt, and exhaustion. In Japanese self-care, imperfection is not something to fight against. It is something to accept, learn from, and live with calmly. When you accept imperfection without self-criticism, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure and create space for steady growth. Many people believe that being hard on themselves leads to improvement. In reality, harsh self-judgment weakens focus and motivation. It narrows perspective and turns small mistakes into emotional burdens. Accepting imperfection does not mean lowering standards. It means removing cruelty from the process of learning. Mistakes are part of movement. They indicate effort, not failure. When you respond to errors with curiosity instead of anger, you retain clarity. You ask, "What can I adjust?" rather than, "What is wrong with me?" This shift protects self-respect and keeps progress steady. Japanese self-care values refinement over correction. Small adjustments made calmly are more effective than dramatic reactions. This approach reduces emotional turbulence. You improve quietly, without the constant noise of self-blame. Self-criticism often arises from unrealistic expectations. Expecting flawless performance ignores human limits. Fatigue, emotion, and uncertainty are part of life. Accepting this reality allows you to respond with balance. You rest when needed. You correct course without panic. Learning to accept imperfection requires patience. The impulse to judge yourself will appear. When it does, pause. Notice the thought without attaching to it. Replace judgment with observation. This practice weakens the habit of self-criticism over time. Imperfection also fosters humility. You remain open to learning. You do not defend mistakes or hide them. This openness builds resilience. Calm confidence grows when you no longer need to prove worth through perfection. In daily life, this acceptance reduces anxiety. You stop replaying minor errors. You stop fearing failure. Decisions become easier because you trust your ability to adapt. Calm replaces constant self-monitoring. Accepting imperfection strengthens relationships as well. When you are gentle with yourself, you become gentler with others. Expectations soften. Understanding deepens. Balance spreads outward. This practice does not eliminate ambition, it supports it. Progress continues without emotional damage. You move forward without carrying shame. Each step becomes lighter. Remember that calm is not created by doing everything right. It is created by responding wisely when things go wrong. Acceptance allows recovery. Self-criticism delays it. Practice this daily. When something does not go as planned, acknowledge it calmly. Adjust. Continue. Over time, this approach becomes natural. Accepting imperfection is an act of self-respect. It allows growth without suffering. When you release the need to be flawless, you gain balance, resilience, and peace. Chapter 10. Practice emotional restraint, not suppression. Emotions are a natural part of being human, but how you handle them determines whether they strengthen or destabilize you. In Japanese self-care, emotional restraint is valued not as denial, but as discipline. There is a clear difference between suppressing emotions and restraining them. Suppression ignores feelings until they surface uncontrollably. Restraint acknowledges them calmly and chooses when and how to respond. Many people react immediately to what they feel. Anger is expressed without pause. Anxiety drives impulsive decisions. Sadness turns into withdrawal. These reactions may feel honest, but they often create unnecessary consequences. Emotional restraint introduces a pause. It gives you space to respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. The first step in restraint is awareness. You notice the emotion as it arises. You name it internally without judgment. This recognition prevents escalation. The emotion is seen, not denied. This simple act already reduces intensity. Restraint does not mean silence forever. It means timing. Choosing the right moment to express what you feel preserves balance. Speaking calmly later is more effective than reacting strongly in the moment. This practice protects relationships and self-respect. Emotional restraint also protects energy. Emotional outbursts are draining. They scatter attention and create regret. By restraining reactions, you conserve mental and emotional strength. Calm remains intact, even in challenging situations. This practice requires patience. The urge to express immediately will appear. When it does, return to the breath. Allow the feeling to pass through without acting on it. Most emotions lose intensity quickly when not fed by reaction. Restraint is particularly valuable during conflict. When you remain composed, you see situations clearly. You listen more effectively. Solutions become possible. Calm authority replaces emotional chaos. Japanese self-care teaches that dignity is preserved through composure. When you maintain restraint, you do not give others control over your inner state. You remain steady regardless of external behavior. Over time, this discipline reshapes emotional patterns. You react less, you observe more. Emotional resilience grows. Calm becomes habitual. Restraint also encourages reflection. After emotions settle, you can examine their cause. This understanding leads to growth. You respond better next time. Practice restraint daily. Begin with small moments. Pause before responding. Breathe. Choose words carefully. Each instance strengthens the habit. This approach does not numb emotion. It refines expression. Feelings are honored without ruling behavior. Balance emerges naturally. Emotional restraint is not weakness. It is strength under control. When you master it, you navigate life with composure, clarity, and calm. Chapter 11. Create mental space at the end of each day. How you end your day matters just as much as how you begin it. The final moments before rest quietly shape your mind, your sleep, and the quality of the day that follows. In Japanese self-care, the evening is treated as a time to clear, not consume. Creating mental space at the end of each day allows you to release what no longer needs your attention and prepare your mind for rest. Many people carry the weight of the entire day into the night. Unfinished thoughts, emotional reactions, and mental noise linger long after activity stops. This habit keeps the mind alert when it should be settling. Over time, sleep becomes shallow and recovery incomplete. Mental space restores balance. Begin by slowing down deliberately. Reduce stimulation as the day ends. Lower noise, dim lights. Step away from screens when possible. These signals tell the mind that effort is ending. Calm follows clear transitions. Reflection plays an important role. Quietly review the day without judgment. Notice what went well. Acknowledge what did not. Release both. The goal is not analysis, but closure. When the mind knows the day has been acknowledged, it can let go. Tidying your space supports this process. Clearing surfaces. Preparing for tomorrow. These small acts create order and reduce morning stress. They also signal completion. The day is finished. Mental space also comes from letting go of unresolved concerns. If something requires action tomorrow, note it briefly and set it aside. Trust that it will be addressed. Carrying it mentally offers no benefit. Breathing gently before rest helps settle the nervous system. Slow breaths calm racing thoughts. They anchor attention in the present moment. Creating mental space is not about doing more. It is about stopping wisely. Ending the day intentionally preserves energy. This practice improves sleep quality. A calm mind rests deeply. Restored energy improves emotional stability and focus the next day. Consistency matters. Repeat these actions nightly. Over time, the mind learns to transition smoothly from activity to rest. When you create mental space at the end of each day, you protect your peace. Calm becomes part of your rhythm. You rest fully, wake clearer, and move through life with balance and steadiness. Chapter 12. Build strong boundaries with kindness. Boundaries are often misunderstood. They are not walls meant to push people away, nor are they acts of selfishness. In Japanese self-care, boundaries are expressions of respect, respect for yourself, and respect for others. When built with kindness, boundaries protect calm without creating conflict. They allow you to remain steady in a world that constantly asks for more. Without boundaries, energy leaks, time disappears, emotional strain builds quietly. You may feel overwhelmed without knowing exactly why. This happens when you allow external demands to dictate your inner state. Boundaries restore balance by clarifying where your responsibility ends and another person's begins. Kind boundaries begin with self-awareness. You must know your limits before you can communicate them. Notice when you feel drained, resentful, or rushed. These emotions often signal that a boundary has been crossed. Responding early prevents tension from accumulating. Communication matters. Boundaries expressed calmly are more effective than those expressed with frustration. A simple, clear response is enough. You do not need long explanations or justifications. Kind firmness preserves both dignity and calm. It is also important to accept that not everyone will understand your boundaries. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Maintaining balance requires accepting temporary discomfort rather than long-term resentment. Boundaries protect mental space. They reduce interruptions and emotional overload. When you decide when and how you are available, you conserve energy for meaningful engagement. This practice also improves relationships. Clear boundaries prevent misunderstandings. Expectations become realistic. Respect grows. Setting boundaries at work supports focus. Limiting interruptions. Defining availability. Protecting rest. These actions enhance productivity and prevent burnout. Boundaries with technology are equally important. Constant access drains attention. Choosing when to engage preserves clarity. Kindness remains essential. Boundaries set with calm confidence invite understanding. They demonstrate self-respect rather than control. Over time, boundaries become natural. You respond thoughtfully. You protect peace without guilt. Calm becomes sustainable. Building boundaries is an ongoing practice. Adjust as needed. Stay attentive to your needs. Strong boundaries with kindness create a balanced life. You remain open without being overwhelmed. Calm grows where respect exists. Chapter 13. Learn to enjoy solitude without loneliness. Solitude and loneliness are often confused, yet they are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling of absence, a sense of being disconnected and unseen. Solitude, when approached with intention, is a space for restoration and self-understanding. In Japanese self-care, solitude is respected as a necessary condition for balance. Learning to enjoy time alone without feeling lonely strengthens emotional independence and inner calm. Many people avoid being alone because silence exposes thoughts they would rather ignore. Distraction becomes a shield. Noise fills the space. Yet constant avoidance weakens emotional resilience. Solitude invites you to meet yourself honestly, without performance or pressure. This meeting, when approached gently, becomes grounding rather than uncomfortable. Enjoying solitude begins with reframing it. Time alone is not a failure of connection. It is a pause that allows you to recharge. When you step away from constant interaction, your nervous system settles. You stop absorbing external moods and expectations. Your thoughts slow down. Clarity returns. Solitude allows you to hear your own voice. Without external influence, you begin to recognize what you truly need. This awareness supports better decisions. You become less reactive to approval and less dependent on validation. Calm grows from self-sufficiency. Japanese self-care encourages simple solitary practices: walking alone, drinking tea quietly, sitting without stimulation. These moments are not empty, they are full of awareness. Over time, they become familiar and comforting. Loneliness often arises when solitude is filled with self-judgment. When you criticize yourself in silence, isolation feels heavy. Replacing judgment with observation changes the experience. Notice thoughts without attaching meaning. Allow feelings to pass. Solitude becomes neutral, then supportive. There is strength in being comfortable alone. It reduces emotional dependency. Relationships improve because connection becomes a choice rather than a need. You engage more genuinely when you are not seeking completion from others. Solitude also restores creativity. When the mind is quiet, insight emerges naturally. Ideas surface without effort. Reflection deepens. Calm focus replaces scattered thinking. It is important to balance solitude with connection. This practice is not about withdrawal. It is about renewal. Time alone prepares you to engage more fully with others. You return, centered rather than depleted. Begin gradually. Spend short periods alone without distraction. Notice resistance. Breathe through it. Each moment builds tolerance and comfort. Over time, solitude becomes a source of stability. Enjoying solitude also supports emotional regulation. When you are comfortable being alone, you do not rush to escape discomfort. You sit with emotions until they soften. This patience strengthens resilience. In a busy world, choosing solitude is an act of care. It protects your inner space. It restores balance. It teaches you that peace does not require constant interaction. When you learn to enjoy solitude without loneliness, you carry calm within you. You are no longer dependent on external noise for comfort. Balance becomes internal, and from that place, life feels steadier, quieter, and more whole. Chapter 14. Slow down to see what truly matters. Speed is often mistaken for progress. The faster life moves, the more pressure builds to keep up. In this constant motion, clarity is lost. Japanese self-care teaches a different lesson. Slowing down is not falling behind. It is returning to what is essential. When you slow down, you begin to see clearly again. What truly matters comes into focus. Rushing fragments attention. Thoughts scatter. Decisions are made quickly, but not wisely. Slowing down gathers the mind. It allows you to notice details, emotions, and signals that are otherwise missed. This awareness reduces mistakes and emotional strain. Slowness does not mean inactivity. It means intentional pacing. You move deliberately rather than impulsively. Actions become purposeful. Effort becomes efficient. Calm replaces urgency. In daily life, slowing down begins with small choices. Walking at a relaxed pace. Eating without haste. Completing tasks one at a time. These adjustments seem minor, yet their impact is profound. They shift the nervous system out of constant alertness. When you slow down, you reconnect with meaning. Why you work, why you choose certain commitments, why you value certain relationships. Without this reflection, life becomes a series of reactions. Slowness restores direction. Japanese self-care values quality over quantity. Doing fewer things well creates satisfaction. Overcommitting creates stress. Slowing down allows you to choose carefully rather than automatically. There will be resistance. The habit of rushing is deeply ingrained. Slowing down may feel uncomfortable at first. This discomfort is temporary. As the mind adjusts, calm emerges. Slowness also supports emotional balance. When you pause, emotions have time to settle. You respond with clarity instead of urgency. This restraint preserves relationships and self-respect. In work, slowing down improves results. Focus deepens, errors decrease, satisfaction increases. Productivity becomes sustainable. Slowing down creates space for gratitude. You notice small moments of ease. These moments build contentment. Calm grows quietly. Practice slowing down intentionally. Choose moments to pause. Breathe. Observe. Let urgency pass. Over time, this becomes natural. When you slow down, life regains depth. You stop chasing and start choosing. Balance replaces pressure. Calm reveals what truly matters. Chapter 15. Live with quiet discipline every day. Calm and balance are not achieved through occasional effort. They are built through quiet discipline practiced daily. In Japanese self-care, discipline is not harsh or forceful. It is gentle, consistent, and deeply respectful. It is the willingness to show up for yourself every day, even when no one is watching, even when motivation fades. Quiet discipline means doing what supports your well-being without seeking recognition. It is waking up at a consistent time, keeping your space orderly, moving your body gently, eating with awareness, resting properly. None of these actions are dramatic, yet together they shape a steady and resilient life. Many people associate discipline with restriction. In reality, discipline creates freedom. When your habits are stable, your mind is free from constant decision-making. You no longer negotiate with yourself every day. Calm becomes automatic because structure supports it. Quiet discipline relies on routine rather than intensity. You do not push yourself to extremes. You maintain balance through repetition. This approach prevents burnout and preserves energy. Progress becomes sustainable. There will be days when discipline feels difficult. Energy may be low, motivation may disappear. On those days, discipline becomes even more important. You adjust expectations, not commitment. You do a little instead of nothing. This consistency builds trust in yourself. Discipline also teaches patience. Results appear gradually. Calm deepens over time. You learn to value steady improvement over quick fixes. This patience reduces frustration. Living with discipline does not mean living rigidly. Flexibility remains important. Discipline provides structure, not confinement. You adapt while maintaining core habits. Balance remains intact. Quiet discipline shapes identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who cares for their inner world. This identity reinforces behavior. Habits align naturally with values. This practice also strengthens resilience. When challenges arise, you rely on routine. Calm actions guide you through difficulty. Discipline provides stability during uncertainty. Quiet discipline supports self-respect. Each small action reinforces the belief that you are worth caring for. Over time, confidence grows quietly. Living with discipline is not about perfection, it is about presence. Showing up consistently, adjusting when needed, and continuing forward. As you practice quiet discipline daily, calm becomes part of who you are. Balance is no longer something you seek. It is something you live. Conclusion. Calm is not something you wait for. It is something you build. Through daily choices, quiet discipline, and gentle awareness, you shape an inner world that remains steady even when life feels uncertain. The Japanese approach to self-care reminds us that balance is not created through escape or extremes, but through how you live each ordinary day. Throughout this audiobook, you have explored 15 practical habits designed to support a calm and balanced life. None of them required perfection. None demanded dramatic change. They asked only for consistency, respect, and intention. When practiced together, these habits form a way of living that feels grounded rather than rushed, steady rather than strained. Self-care, in its truest form, is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters and doing it well. Simplifying your life, honoring routines, caring for your environment, moving gently, eating with awareness, protecting your mental energy, and embracing quiet presence all serve the same purpose. They reduce noise so clarity can emerge. They create space so balance can grow. You may notice that calm does not eliminate challenges. Difficult moments will still appear, stress will still arise, emotions will still surface. What changes is how you meet them. With practiced habits, you respond rather than react. You adjust rather than resist. You remain centered instead of overwhelmed. Balance is not fragile when it is built slowly. It becomes part of your identity. You begin to trust yourself. You recognize your limits. You respect your needs. This trust creates confidence that does not rely on external validation or constant reassurance. These practices are meant to be revisited. Life changes. Seasons shift. What supports you now may need adjustment later. Return to these habits whenever you feel scattered or drained. They are tools, not rules. Use them with flexibility and kindness. Remember that calm is not passive. It is active care. It is choosing simplicity when excess tempts you. It is choosing restraint when reaction feels easier. It is choosing rest when pressure pushes you forward. Each choice strengthens balance. As you move forward, allow these habits to integrate naturally into your life. Do not rush the process. Calm grows quietly, almost unnoticed, until one day you realize that your inner world feels lighter, clearer, and more stable. Carry this calm with you. Let it shape how you work, how you relate, how you rest, and how you move through the world. A balanced life is not one without effort, but one where effort is guided by awareness. Your calm is something you deserve. Protect it, practice it, live it.